Hello and welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. I am so excited to bring you the story today because I've been talking to you about agriculture and not only agriculture, but how it's changed. The way it's gone into technology, farming is just not the same as it used to be. And I came across this story on LinkedIn um, that really blew my mind. I was like, wow, what is that? And it was this technology that this young man was introducing, and his name is Silas Boateng, and he is from Ghana. And I said, man, I have got to introduce you to the people I know in agriculture. So today I'm introducing you to Silas Boateng of Ghana, of AI Scarecrow Technologies. Wow, Silas, we finally made it. Yes,
Oh, nice
months
meeting you,
months of
Jackie.
planning, months of planning. Finally.
Yeah, nice meeting you. We are glad to be here as Ice Scarecrow. It's our passion to help solve agricultural problems using technology and innovation. And when we are granted such an international platform like this to talk about what we do, it's such an honor to share with the world what we are doing to help the peasant farmers and the commercial farmers in Ghana. So the problem we identified in Ghana is that cereal farmers, specifically rice, millet, sorghum, and maize farmers have this beds. There's a period we call the booting period in this production of the cereals where the grains are formed before the harvesting period. And during this time, these pests percent of these products to these pest bears. These bears come in big flocks and they just come and feed on these grains of our farmers on the field. If there are no manual bird scarers to clap and chant on the field to scare these birds away, within a matter of 20 to 30 minutes, over hectares of lands will be wiped off by these pest birds. On an average, they stay 8 to 10 hours on the field, just clapping, just shouting, screaming, and chasing away these pest birds. Sometimes it's very pathetic when our mothers and our fathers would have to stand in the sun and just do this if they don't have the money to hire people to do, or if they don't have kids. And you see, when these kids are used, it's very sad because that means it deprives them of the education. They leave the classrooms, come and stand on the field to scare for their parents, which also end up affecting their education. And putting all these pieces together, iScarecrow was able to come up with an innovative technological solution to help our farmers to scare off.
And it's okay. There is a little bit of a delay, and we're going to work through that because what you're saying is so important. I know people will wait, as the comments are coming across. So, we're going to be patient with that. But, this, when I first saw this, it reminded me of the locusts. I've never seen birds do what locusts do, and that was just amazing. And what Silas is saying is they're literally these farmers making noise, and we actually have video of what that sounds like, and just the way that I got to make sure that I turned the volume down a while ago. So when we were talking, so I got to turn it back up to make sure it's there so you can hear what he is talking about. It's just vitally important. I want you to be able to hear it as it's happening. Let's see.
Hey! 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 You see them. You didn't see them, man.
Yeah. These are the
You,
people we call the manual bird scarers who have been employed
Hey! Hey! Hey!
hours of
Hey!
8 a.m.,
Hey!
6 p.m.
Hey!
for 30 to
Hey!
45 days on the field.
Hey!
So we come in and we set up a locally produced drone. When I say produce, we design it ourselves. We got the parts from the Westlands and assembled it here. And here we have what we call the Eye Scarecrow Technologies Roman. This feature has a humanoid head. It has sounds, pre-recorded sounds. And when it flies, it's able to cover up to 10 kilometers. So this is able to chase the birds to and fro as the sound is emitted.
I think
It's
it's incredible.
controlled manually. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's controlled manually by our guys on the field. For now, as we develop on it more to further incorporate AI features into it. But as we see, this is how it works over there.
In a second, you'll see the birds scatter as it gets closer to the area that the drone is heading. Yeah, there they go.
So as you can hear, that's an excitement from one of the farmers because it's something that he would have been doing, but that's when technology steps in and doing that work for him.
Now, how important is this to farmers that they don't, one, like you had mentioned, they don't have to stand out there or get people out there to do this themselves?
Okay, so this is very important to the farmers for the fact that first of all, it's a daily job between that booting period. It's a 30 to 45 days. So that's a minimum of 1 month and a maximum of a month and 15 days. So you pay these manual bird scarers daily or at the end of the period. So usually all these are incorporated in the production costs. So for a farmer who is not having much, is having just an acre to like a hectare, would end up losing a bit to these manual bird scarers in form of payment, or would have to, like I said, deny the kids of education to be on the field to scare for them. And this is not what the farmers would really want, but it's such that there isn't any solution available. So they end up using their kids, they end up employing people, and those who get so much frustrated even end up using hazardous chemicals on the field. This will end up affecting the rice that we are consuming and also affect the health of the farmer who will be handling these poisonous chemicals. So this is at the heart of us and also very dear to the farmers once there's an intervention like this to substitute what they would have done, which would have also posed an adverse effect on their health and their employment.
And I just want you to see these birds. I mean, you can see, look how many birds are in this bush. I mean, I don't know if there was something food on it before. Can you tell me, you know, look how many birds. Can you imagine this amount of birds coming into a field and just eating everything up and then hanging out?
So usually these birds, I always say, means they feed on only grains, and they are also tropical birds. So they are only found in the sub-Saharan Africa. So my brothers and sisters in the West, Europe or Asia wouldn't see. We need to explain it to them. But when these birds come, they usually build their nest on the banks of the field. And when you see them at in a bush like this is after they've been scared off and they are just waiting for that calm and peaceful atmosphere on the field. The moment they feel that sense of peace, then the assumption is that there's nobody now chasing them off the field. They move away from the bush to the field again to feast. And they don't leave. No matter how you scare them, they don't leave because they've also come to feed and they must make sure they get food to eat. So they go back to their nest, you chase them off, When they see that you've also relaxed, they come back again to feed. So it's like a banter on the field. That's how come the technology is there to scare them throughout that entire period. Then, in doing so, they are able to move to a different place. In environmental sustainability, we usually teach the farmers that they need to also create fallow grounds or fallow fields where the grass around for these birds to go and feed, other than coming to feed on their grains, which are for
Oh.
commercial purposes. Yeah.
Mm. Well, that makes sense. I can understand that. Because I was just saying, so how do you, if they don't go away, or they'll always come back, and you can't have somebody out there even with the drone forever. So how do you do they feed in the daytime only, or do they feed at night as well?
Okay, so in terms of population, they come from the hours of 6 to 8 in huge numbers for breakfast. Then they go, and a few of them will be just flying up and about. Then between the hours of 12 to 2, they come back again. And late evenings from 5 to 6, they come back again. Yeah, so
Breakfast,
it's
lunch,
three
and
times.
dinner.
Exactly.
Oh my God. You know, but that's amazing that you can even at least dictate some of the times that they're actually going to be there.
Yeah, yeah. We've been able to study the pattern in which they flow, they fly, and they come. Yeah, so we're able to detect. Even during the raining seasons, these birds still come, irrespective of how wet their feathers would be. Once they are grains, they don't give a chance. And that is where there's a bit of hurdle for you, the human being. You wouldn't stand in when the rains are falling, but they will come and feed. Yeah, so it's also another learning curve for us as we also try to work on our drones to be waterproof so that when there are rains, we can still use these technologies to chase off the best. If not, the farmers will lose drastically.
What kind of impact, have you actually seen from these farmers? And I know you kind of mentioned the fact that their children don't have to be out there. The farmers, but as far as their crops, how long are they able to use this and use it again, I should say?
Okay, so first of all, it's one of our value proposition is to increase the yield of these farmers as they use our technology, and it's sad to say that the zeal and the passion for people to enter into this cereal production, especially rice, keeps going down because of these birds. If a farmer has the zeal to or the passion to farm an acre, he'll at the end of the day stick to the half acre because he wouldn't
Mm,
want to lose everything to these birds. So now that the technology has been able to come, the farmers are now willing to push more because they know that no matter the extent that they would want to go to now, there is a solution for them. And also in terms of climate change, when farmers end up producing this rice, on the on the field, there's water always on the field on the rice farms. And these waters, when they stay long on the farms, there is an anaerobic um, activity which causes the production of methane gas. So using this technology, at the end of the day, we also help curtail this production of the methane gas in the sense that if a farmer needs just 1 acre, the farmer wouldn't end up producing more than an acre
mhm.
or less than an acre. So you just produce what is needed. And producing what is needed, there's already a solution to help you also quantify the day because you pick the commercial farms. What they do now is because they know that the birds will come and feed. If they want a yield from 50 acres, producing 60 acres, so that even if they will lose 10 to the birds, they can have 50. But in
Wow.
doing so, yeah, but in doing, like I said, contributing to the production of place 50, we get a yield from the 50, and we are able to move. Yeah.
Well, and I know that a little bit. We When you go back and we listen to the interview together, I'll need you to put anything that was missing in the comments so that we keep, we don't miss anything.
Sure.
Because you're in Ghana and I'm in South Florida. I mean, I'm so grateful to bring this because I know that this is research, and you're also working on another project here. Can you tell us another way, to help scare the birds?
Okay. So this is what we call the robot. This robotic predatory bird is designed in the form of a falcon. It can be a hawk, it can be an eagle, depending on the kind of bird, predatory bird we want to portray. And this one flaps its wing. What we are trying to do was to mimic how a natural bird would fly, so that when the bird see the predatory bird coming, it will know that it's going to cause a fear, or let me say danger to it, and it will fly away. Because usually the fear instincts usually helps them to move away, and they have their cries or the sound which they make, and each depict whatever is happening at a point in time. So using this and also using the drone alongside, each of them has its own essence and effects that it brings to this technology and the output that we are looking at. For now, we are working on this, and also one which wouldn't flap, because we've realized that when this one flaps, it ends up using a lot of energy, that is the
Hmm.
battery. And that also is one thing which we have to work on, so that we can get batteries which are sustainable and motors which have the higher capacity to run. So this research is still ongoing, and we are looking for a lot of partnership and collaborators so that we can scale up and do this very well. Yeah.
So, Silas, answer a question for me. Have you been able to, you know, if a field is particularly, say you've been a nuisance to the birds enough that they're like, you know what, let's go pick a different field. I mean, do they have any of them decided to just move on to the next field?
Okay, so usually what we do is we try to preach to the farmers to involve our services on a larger happens. If not, that is when that happens. Because when one farmer should contact you to scare for him, and the nearby fields are not being scared, usually the birds will move from the fields that you are protecting to the other fields. But for the
Mm.
birds to completely go away, usually they have a lead bird. When they are flying up and through in the skies, they have a lead bird. So depending on the direction the lead bird is going, that's where they follow. So should the lead bird detect another field elsewhere where there wouldn't be much nuisance, they move. But that doesn't mean they wouldn't come back. They will surely come back once there is food. Yeah.
Mm. Once it's quiet, they're like, okay, just right now we're gonna. I tell you, it was. This is absolutely fascinating to me. That I know because I've introduced you to James Amps of Amps International LLC and all he's doing, in the Virgin Islands through the Amps Entrepreneurship Leadership Institute retreat. And I know you guys are talking as well. So, you know, I know that you have needs. For one, I do want to talk about some of the people who have already recognized you. You do have a team, you're not by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, you want to tell us a little bit about your team, and then I want you to tell us some of your needs. Tell us what you still need in your research so that anyone listening that can has an interest or wants to help or has a solution to what maybe they've been working on something similar and maybe you can collaborate. I don't know, but that's why I was like, this is something. I mean, just the way those birds came in, and it's just disheartening. Here you finally get a field full of food, and these birds are just sitting there waiting to eat it, and you have to do something.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
tell me about your team.
first of all, we are grateful for, or we are grateful to they have this social intervention program and from their wing, the Cosmos Innovation Center, that's their NGO. They first organized this agri-tech challenge program for youngsters like ourselves who wanted to do something technological in agriculture. That is where my team and myself met. We didn't we met on this challenge problem, very
Hold on a second,
fascinating,
because
and
I think we missed that point. And if I heard you correctly before you froze, you said that you met at this particular event, not you didn't know each other. And is that what you said?
exactly, we didn't know each other anywhere. We all hoped, applied individually to be part of this journey, and Cosmos asked us to come up with ideas and pitch, and we all started talking to each other about our ideas. So the five of us were able to fall in love with this bird scaring idea, and we started working on it. And that was 2019, and by November we came out as the winners of the 2019 edition of the Agritech Challenge. We competed with over 22 different startups, and we won in 2019. 2020 COVID set in, and 2021 came, and that was when we joined the Blue Column, and that is also by the World Ingenuity Cup. I think that's the first one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
World Ingenuity Cup awards. That one was also much about drone technology and AI. And we pitched our idea. It's not usually just about the pitching of the idea. Like you asked, we have needs. So one of our major goals through this pitch is to be able to sell our story to the world, to be able to reach out to investors, to reach out to partners, to reach out to collaborators so that we can do something uniquely for the farmers, for ourselves as a team, and for Ghana as a country and Africa as a whole. Currently, in as much as we are building a lot of these bird scaring drones, we are looking at how to make good use of the sun. Okay, if we have a drone flying and it's powered by solar, as it's flying, it's charging, it's these inverters somewhere in there, that is something
Yeah.
superb. And we know that this can really last for a very long time because of the terrain we find ourselves in. So these are some of the things which motivates us to enter into these challenges. Yeah, and that is one you are showing that that's a Green Innovation Challenge by the Israeli government, and we're able to pitch, and also among about 10 startups, we emerged as the winner. So asking us what we particularly need, we really need just three things for now. I'll say just three. We need the investors, we need the collaborators, we need the partnership with companies in the drone industry, in the technological space, in the artificial intelligence space. Come on board and help youngsters like ourselves in Africa, in Ghana to be precise, who are ready to make a global impact and also curtail this rise of climate change and help our farmers also to enjoy their yield. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I mean, really, it's just number one, you're just delightful. It
Thank
was first I saw your story, but then I talked to you, we met, on Zoom and we talked, and I was like, "You have video of these birds?" I was like, "I have to see it. We have to do this." And it's just to me this is a what we call a no-brainer, you know. This is a need. There are probably people out there who can help you. They just have to hear the story. And that's why I tell people, so it's this is so important, to tell your story. And then not only that, but I discovered Silas. I don't know if maybe you did connect, maybe you did like something on my site. I'm not sure how
Yeah,
it worked out, but either way, for whatever reason, I went and looked to see who you were. And when I
yeah,
found out, I was like, I need to connect with this person. I want to hear what he has to say. I wanted to know if there was more. And that's why I wanted to make sure that you saw the awards that he and his team have received. So that, this isn't just some guy with a drone and a bird and a head. He has backing behind him. And they need more support. This is somebody you can get behind. They're vetted. They've already been awarded in three major areas. Get behind Silas and his team, and let's make a difference in the agriculture world, which will what? It'll go out not just there, but all over. So whatever you're able to do, you'll be able to share that technology everywhere. And I know I'm talking now, right? I was telling you, you have to do all the talking, because I really needed you to explain what it is that you're doing. But even with what's happening in the US Virgin Islands, you know, just the fact that people are not going into agriculture the way they used to, and that the people in that field are aging, it is refreshing to see you young people, you know, championing that. I can't say the word. Yes.
Okay. We are grateful also, and we pray and let people know that this pest birds issue isn't a problem. I say it's a sub-Saharan African problem. These birds are in the South Africa. These birds are in East countries from Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe. These birds are all over. Once they are in the tropical system, these birds are there to feed. So if any collaborator, partner, any investor is coming on board to assist us to scale up, this is not going to be just one country development or one country exposure that we are looking at. We are looking at taking the entire Africa at a stop and spreading across all countries in Africa. You see, when you take the solution we have now, there is a project we are running with one of our local airports over here, also to see if these birds can work at the airport. This drone can work at the airport because we usually have bird strikes and at the
Mhm.
airports, and we found one of the are still on and in talks with them. So this technology is very innovative. It's very novel because it isn't anywhere, and we are looking for the early early investors to come on board. Let's do something big for Africa. Let's do something big and help with food security, help with climate change, help my little brothers and sisters leave the fields and get back to the classroom so that they can also get the quality education that I had, which has brought me this far, and to be able to pitch this idea to the rest of the world.
Wow. Silas, I'm so glad we got together. This is tremendous. I know it's going to be eye opening to everyone who sees it. And the whole bird strike thing, that's a whole nother element. So that helps me because when I target the audience as to who's going to see this um, interview, I will definitely target the airline industry as well. So thanks for saying that. Thank you so much for joining me. And for anyone watching, you know what to do. Here's his contact information. Contact him, and then of course you have to tell me so I can do a story
Sure,
about it. Okay.
sure.
All right. All right. All good. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching
Thank you,
Newsworthy Stories
Jacqueline. Thank you.
with
Thank
Jacqueline
you.
Jimenez. Thank you.